Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. How's everybody doing today? I see lots of smiley faces. You guys are in store for a really fantastic show. Jasper Cole is in the house. Yes. Talking about the award-winning actor extraordinaire, known as the famed Hollywood bad guy actor. That doesn't mean he's a bad actor. He plays a lot of those bad guys, but he's so good at it. The cool thing is his personality in real life is the opposite. That's right. I know, hard to believe because he's so convincing, right? With those roles, incredible roles, American Horror Story and MacGruber, and just on and on and on. Television, film, and so much more. He is on location. Lucky him, lucky stiff, huh? Maybe I shouldn't say lucky stiff to him. He is in Palm Springs, California. Yes, at his home in Palm Springs. We have a lot of friends in Palm Springs. We were just talking about some of the friends that are there, and it's about 90 degrees and sunny. Here on the East Coast, it's about 42 degrees and not so sunny. Hope everybody's doing well, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm your host, Jim Masters, and if you're just joining us for the very first time, this is our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series that we started a long time ago. When I say a long time ago, it was May 2020, but it's like almost 550 episodes live 7 days a week, and sometimes 2 shows a day live with guests from literally all around the world, which I think is really, really cool. They come in from literally all around the world. Celebrity friends and guests coming in from Broadway and Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, you name it, food. We talk a lot about food on this show, pets, and pet care and health and wellness, science and nature. You guys know the drill, inspiration. It's an entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series where we really do something for everybody. And that's what I think is great about what we do. It's unique. It's special. It's got some of that old school talk show vibe like Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson, but at the same time with a modern twist and a modern vibe of today. So really nice to see everybody here. We had a really busy day. I was on the air as usual because I work in television and radio all day today. And fantastic, fantastic day. Very busy day. And then, of course, getting all these shows ready. We have 2 shows tomorrow. Yes, iconic television and film star and wonderful singer. If you've never heard her sing, the one and only Linda Pearl is here at a special time, 3:45 p.m. Eastern. I know we usually do the shows at the top of the hour. This is a special one because she's got a really busy day tomorrow because she has a big show coming up at Birdland in New York City, at the time of this show. For those watching live, if you're watching this episode 6 months from now, then none of that matters. You can just see the episode in the archives on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So tomorrow, 3:45 p.m., Linda Pearl is here, and it's going to be amazing. Then we're going to really laugh because tomorrow night we are kicking off the birthday weekend for legendary comedian, accordion player, the love goddess. You know who we're talking about, right? Judy Tenuta is in the house. Well, not this house, her house in Los Angeles, coming up tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then we have 2 shows on Saturday afternoon, Saturday nights, just busy times. How's everybody doing? Again, really good to see all your smiley faces. If this is your first time here, well, we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Our mission is to inspire, entertain, connect, collaborate, and have a good time. We always learn something. We always have lots of smiles and lots of surprises. And sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. Why? Because we come at you live. And when we're live, whoosh, anything goes. I've experienced a lot of live television and radio in my life and stage, and anything can happen. And when you're on the internet, double that. Let's welcome in just a second. Jasper going to be with us again, Hollywood's bad guy actor. And he's also a prolific producer, and he does his own show as well. Let's check in with some of our lovities. And you know what? You know what's really cool? Our special guest, Jasper Cole, already did his homework. He watches our series. He says he loves the Jim Master Show Live. He loves the vibe. He just loves the way we do it. And he wrote down a few things like the Mr. Lovity, the Lovity Hall, and Lovity Squad, and all of that. And he's really into it. I told him, you know what, you're going to see some Lovity mentioned here on the show. Let me explain. He says, oh, you don't have to explain. I watched the show. I'm a fan of the Jim Master Show Live, Jim. So I got the program. I'm into the levity. Bring it on. Levity was because I said light, love, and levity in the summertime last year, and out came levity. So I say that again over and over sometimes because there's a lot of new people that watch who don't know what we're talking about when we say levity. So now you do. Hey, gang, before we greet some of the viewers, and then we'll have Jasper on in just a second, quick favor. You're on our YouTube channel. If you could click subscribe, man, would we love that? That really helps us big time. It's really, really helpful if you can do that. And many of you have done it already, but if you haven't, you see that button right there, that red button that says subscribe. There's no cost. That's right. Something in the world where there's no cost. There's no cost for that. And you click that, and then it says subscribed. And it just lets us know that you appreciate what we're doing here with our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. And you're part of the JMS family when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, give our episode a like, a thumbs up. You'll see next to the subscribe button, you'll also see a notification bell, a little bell icon. Click that so you never miss any of the episodes we do here on the Jim Masters Show Live. You'll be alerted every time we do episodes, and we do a lot of surprise things on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, in addition to this series. And also, again, drop a like on this episode, and also leave a comment for us too if you're enjoying what we're doing here on all the episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. All right, that was a mouthful, but it's all part of the the housekeeping here at JMS Live as we welcome new people all the time. Kathy Short is watching from Cleveland, Ohio, and Kathy says, "Hello, Jim and Lovities. Happy Thursday. Good to see you, Kathy, as always." And now we know you won't be at any Cleveland Indian games because the season's over. The Braves won the World Series. Again, for those of you who are watching live, welcome back. You were in Vegas. You had a nice time in Vegas. I don't know if you saw our Hollywood. Well, it's kind of like a Hollywood production. Our wacky Halloween episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Check it out, Kathy. You were featured on that episode. Yes. Check that out. I say no more. It's in the archives on our YouTube channel. Joan Sando is watching. She says, "Hi, Jim. Jasper, welcome to Levity Hall." Love coming in from Joan already. Linda says, "Good evening, Mr. Levity. Good evening, Lovities. Good to see you as well." Linda, who's watching in warm and sunny, or at least I hope it is. Well, now it's nighttime, but we're talking about Florida and St. Augustine, where she hails from. All these great folks that are here, like Sherry Larson is here. She's watching in Kansas, USA. Good to see you, Sherry Larson. And Mary Bishop is here also from Florida. She's a little bit further down than where Linda is. She is in Pine Island, Florida. Good to see you as well. And all of our regulars, these are the real tried and true faithful. We have some people that watch here and there when we're live, some people that watch in the archives. These are the real tried and true that are here. They do everything they can not to miss live because they like to participate. And they just like the fact that anything can happen when it's live. And there is something different when you're watching something live as opposed to later. But don't fret. We realize that you're not always able to be here all the time. So everything is archived for you at Jim Masters TV on our YouTube channel. Another one of our lovities is in Ontario, Canada, and that is Merlin. Merlin is here. She is here from Ontario. She says, "Hello, Jim, and my lovely friends. Good to see you as well, Merlin." Toby is here from Encino, California. Yay, she says. She goes, "Bad guy, yay, Jasper." Good to see you as well. And Joan Sando says, "Hi, Jim. We are glad to have a Levity Hall." Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're in our Levity Hall as well. You're very welcome. Joan, Juanita is here, and Juanita says, "Hello, Jim and Levity Squad." Good to see you, Juanita. We love when you're here as well. Nice to see you as well. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody that's checking in here. Yes, it is a good time to share this episode and all the episodes on your social media. I know a lot of you like to do that. We thank you very much for those of you who have been doing that. That means the world to us. Merlin says, "Welcome, Jasper, to Levity Hall. You're now a Levity." Cool. He's all into it. He's ready to go. It's kind of cool the way, you see all these lights in our set and everything, all this color and everything. He's got a very plain set with sort of these light white walls, almost with a grayish tinge, and he's got this shade behind him. It almost looks like somebody's going to burst their hand through that shade. You never know, that might happen. And good to see you, Merlin. And Juanita is watching again from South Africa. We mentioned her as well. And everybody, Linda says, welcome Jasper to the Lovely Squad show. Dawn is here. Dawn says, hi, Jim. Good to see you, Dawn. Nice to see you as well. And again, you guys keep, you're going to get your bad boy fix coming up. Mona, who is in Louisiana, and she always sends me those delicious spices, Cajun spices and more. We're still using them. They're delicious. Mona says hello, and Linda is sort of feeding that through. Say hi to Mona for us. Hey, Jim, looking great as always. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. Nice to see you as well. Colleen, watching in New York City. Although with all the different boroughs, they are like little cities. And Toby is here, and Toby says Palm Springs is about 2 hours from me. I have cousins actually that live in Palm Springs. They had moved from New York. First, they had moved from Long Island to upstate New York, not far from Lake George. Actually, they were in Lake George, and then they moved to Palm Springs, and they live in Palm Springs right now. You just noticed the beautiful painting on the wall. Yes. Well, we changed things around a little bit for tonight. We always play with the set. You know, we don't always have the same shot. Sometimes I'm a little lower and I'm seated, right, like that. But tonight I'm standing so I can move around the set. So that's probably why you see that ocean scene. Like you guys know, I'm an ocean lover. You got to drag me out of the ocean. Ocean is a Zen place. We're right here by the ocean. I grew up near the ocean, so the ocean is represented effectively here on JMS Live. Good to see you guys here. And Toby says, show your appreciation by clicking on the, oh, I appreciate that. Yes, that's the, that is the screen that pops up, I guess, during chat. You guys can do super chat, super emojis, super stickers, and that helps support the show because there is a lot of work and time and toil and expense that goes into doing the program. So we thank you. We actually posted in our Facebook group, the Jim Master Show, Lovely Hola. Thank you to those of you who've done it since the show started. And we have a JMS Super Chat Superstars list. And if you want to see your name, if it's on it, you see it in our Facebook group for this show. All right. Allison says, sorry to tell you you're hot, Jim. What? Thank you, Allison. How do we print that out? Is there a way to print these out maybe? The color on set looks good. Thank you very much. Yeah, maybe I should stand more often. Yeah, usually I'm seated and I'm right about, maybe about here. The chair's not even here right now. So yeah, we just stand there. You can see, there's all the cast of characters and everything. So we're doing a little movement today. I just change it up a little bit. And LOL. So good to see everybody here. Nice to have you guys here. We're always tweaking, fine tuning. I like to keep this exciting. I don't like the same old stuff. And if you guys watch our show, and if you've watched it from the beginning, you know we do something different. We liven it up all the time. I am funny. Thank you very much. I attribute that to the Irish side. My father's side, very funny. The Irish humor. All right, gang. It's time to get scared. No. Don't fret. Jasper is one of the nicest guys on the planet, though he does play some very, very interesting characters. I mean, do not adjust your set at all. No, he really is a friendly guy. He really, really is. He's an actor. And he's amazing at what he does. Veteran character actor, producer, manager, radio host. He's flaunted his sinister side and became an international sensation as Val Kilmer's sidekick. Yes, Zeke Plachette in the SNL comedy film MacGruber alongside Ryan Phillippe and Kristen Wiig and Will Forte. The film gained cult status on DVD and is currently that was shot as a new TV series for Peacock as well, the Peacock network on your television. He's also acted as Corey Black on The Family Business. He was awarded Best Screen Villain by the International Hollywood Film Festival the Nollywood Film Festival in 2019, and he just completed filming back in 2020. During the pandemic, the film The Fall, starring Jeffrey Dean Morgan, written and directed by Scott Mann Heist. Now, that's amazing to be able to do that during these crazy times, but they were able to do it. He stars as Mike and is a producer on the upcoming TV series, The Church of Mike, executive produced by David Jeffrey from Prison Break and Bones, two other really popular series. He also co-stars as Theo in the new dark comedy, Kombucha Cure, opposite double Emmy winner Tamara Braun and Emmy-nominated Denise Bout. And as a veteran actor with over 100 TV and film credits, Jasper continues his villainous streak, having co-starred in the box office smash hit The Purge: Anarchy as a homeless man, produced by Michael Bay and Jason Blum. This is just the shortlist, gang, of some of the credible work that he's done. Also in Captured as Shelley, and Anyone Home as Walker, opposite Emmy winner Kathy Baker. And he will soon be seen in the lead role of Bad Cop in the horror thriller Savage Sisters, and Dark Butler in the horror film Spirits, opposite Lynn Lowry, and as Peter in Awaken, The Shadow Man. Of course, you know, he guest starred in the 2017 season of American Horror Story and booked roles on Baskets and Westworld and so much more. But he's also had lots of opportunities to be on television with other series as well. Prom Queen, Everybody Hates Chris, the recurring role on the ABC series The Forgotten, starring Christian Slater, also guest starred on HBO's hit series Funny or Die. Comedy sketches on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Film and TV audiences also remember Jasper as Reno, the bad cowboy in the award-winning Showdown at 7. Commercials for the popular movie website Fandango, and lots more. 1-800 contact commercials. Nickelodeon fans know Jasper as Oswald in the final season of their hit series Victorious. And he was also in the hit syndicated series Outlaw Empires, too. Established as Hollywood's bad guy, it's a matter of time before he graced the big screen. He's appeared in multiple films, too. 18 Again, Alien Nation, Get Your Stuff, Friday the 13th, Urban Assault, and so much more. Really cool. We're happy to have him here. That's just a short list, gang. Just we left that picture up on the screen just on purpose so you can really soak it all in. And Jasper is going to quiz you on what I just said, and you better pass the quiz because that face might come out if you don't. Here he is in the flesh. Our friend Jasper Cole is here live and direct from Palm Springs. Hey, Jasper, how are you?
Wow. Hey, Jim, buddy. How are you?
Not bad at all. And there's that screen that we're waiting for a hand to just...
I look like I'm in a padded cell.
I was going to say, are you in solitary confinement? Are you
like
shooting
in
a new...
asylum somewhere.
I was going to say, are you on set shooting a new scene and that's your scene? Because they're giving you good lighting.
Wow. Well, thanks for that introduction. I don't know who you were talking about, but
yeah,
that guy must be really old. That's for sure.
Your mother faxed that to us.
That's so funny. That's about when, if my mom could have ever used a fax machine.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Remember the noise? Good. And that was not that long ago, but it seems like it was, right?
Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly.
So you're in Palm Springs, although that room doesn't necessarily say Palm Springs, but you are. Look at that, folks. That looks nice. Yeah, that looks great.
The illusion.
It's the illusion. It's the illusion. So you're in Palm Springs, and how have you been doing? You've been very busy, obviously. I mentioned some of the cool things that you've been doing as the pandemic has been in full swing. You've kept busy. So as you watch this show, of course, you know, sometimes I ask the guests, especially during this time of everything we've been going through, what are some of those things you've been able to do to stay connected and collaborative and creative and sane?
Well, you know, it's interesting because at the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't really know what was going to happen. So
Right.
I'm kind of glad I was in a small town like Palm Springs, a little more isolated. LA can be a little overwhelming.
Hmm.
So not a lot is happening, but what was great about it is, like with my podcast, One on One with Jasper Cole, we pivoted from a live studio and we actually went on to the phone and the internet, and it opened up our show to the world, basically. I mean, we already had international listeners, but in terms of the guests we had, it was great that I didn't have to be in the studio in LA. So, yeah, and then also I think on the producing side, people were trapped at home
Yeah.
and they really didn't have an excuse not to take our calls or to listen to our pitches on projects. So a lot more people. We got a lot of stuff done on the producing side, I think, because we had people were not able to say they were too busy to listen to us.
What
So,
voice did you use when you were trying to pitch something? And would it be a voice that they can't say no to?
well, I think
Yeah,
people were just so happy to talk to anyone at that
just to
point.
talk to anyone. That's
Zoom
right.
Zoom became our best friend, I think.
Absolutely. Lisa, thank you very much. I appreciate that. She's doing one of our super stickers, which supports the series. That is beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. You are a class act. And that gives it a beautiful green color there and rises to the surface.
Yay, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. That really is fantastic. So let's step back,
Hmm.
for you early on growing up. If you were to talk to that 10-year-old Jasper, did you always have a keen interest in, scary movies and horror and thrillers and psychological thrillers? Was it something that always interested you? I mean, because when everything I've seen that you've been in, the casting is perfect. You're so spot on with it. But is it something for you that always sort of interested you early on?
Yeah, well, I will say, as a kid, I did love all the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens. I grew up in the 70s and then graduated high school like 80, 82, 82. So I loved all the, I mean, like Terror Train, I could even pull out some of the really classics that people don't remember anymore. But I never thought I would ever be in those kind of movies. I grew up thinking I would be a comedian and that sitcoms would be the way I would go. And comedy was my great love. And when I came to LA in 1987 with a comedy, with a play that I co-wrote and co-starred in, um, I I started getting, episodic TV work that was all comedic. And so around age 40 is when things sort of went, when I went to the dark side. But that's when I started getting the bad guy roles. And
What a
but I,
segue. What an interesting to go from comedy to the bad guy roles. What was it that they were seeing in you? I mean, obviously you had the comedic chops, but what was it about, the bad guy image that they saw? I mean, what were you did you do that transformation sort of that George Carlin did from the clean cut guy, short hair suit to more of the laid back sort of, or a little more rugged looking
well, I often say
transformation?
I turned 40, something happened, the whole face kind of changed, and I kind of say I tried to make lemonade out of lemons. But yeah, I got a series called Prom Queen with
Yeah.
Michael Eisner did, and this is my first. I played the evil stepfather to Josh on the show, and it got a really great response. And I thought, wow, you know what? Because basically, in the beginning, first 15 years of my career, I was sort of the the quirky sidekick. I wasn't Hollywood leading guy. I wasn't charactery enough looking. I
You
kind
weren't
of
the Don Knotts.
I kind of Well, I kind of fell through the cracks of what type was I. And so when I
Right.
turned 40 and I did the first bad guy role, I just sort of thought, you know what, let me lean into this a little bit. And so I grew the hair out and the beard and sort of tried to carve a lane out for myself. So let me also say, uh, the Hollywood bad guy thing it's great, but I'm blessed to be one of many actors
Many
who
who
play
have
bad
that
guys.
sort of Yeah.
I don't know. When I was doing MacGruber, someone in the press gave me that title, which it's fine.
That's
I
usually what
ran
happens. You remember how Don Rickles, the beloved Don Rickles, who we miss, got Mr. Warmth, right?
right.
From Johnny Carson. Johnny
Yeah.
Carson used to introduce him as Mr. Warmth, and it stuck. So that it stuck with you. I'm Mr. Levity. I mean, hey, if the viewers or those that are fans or what have you love it and say it, it's a gift, isn't it?
Yeah, and in this business
Did
now,
your mother like it?
did my mother like it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyone that really knows me or people that grew up with me, they just still crack up when I
Yeah.
play these evil
Right.
bad roles
Yeah.
because I grew up in Georgia. I
Yeah.
was like the youngest of four kids. Athlete, nothing to do with acting at all. Well, internally, I wanted to act. I was sort of a closeted thespian, as I say. I wanted to act, but didn't do anything till much later after high school. And but I loved like Mike Douglas, the Merv Griffin show, the Dick Cavett
Cavett,
show.
Carson, yeah. Dick
You
Clark,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I really loved all the.
Steve
I was
Allen,
I was a latchkey kid, so coming home, TV was my babysitter, and
yes.
all the Norman Lear sitcoms of the 70s, the classics, and I
Yeah.
just
Good Times and the
good
Jeffersons and
times,
All in the
all the
Family.
family, yep,
Yeah. Maude.
Maud, yeah, yep, one day at a time, so yeah, so I knew I wanted to work in television, and then also I was a pop culture fanatic. Like I often say, I've got my head is full of just useless, you know, pop culture BS, but it's fun on my podcast to be able to use some of that when I have guests come on. So it's been a blessing.
That is cool. That is really cool. So, uh, tell us about the comedic part because some people might not realize this comedic part. Were you always a funny kid growing up in Georgia? What part of Georgia? Were you near Atlanta or
Yeah,
Savannah?
yeah. I grew up in Athens, Georgia, which is a
Athens.
college town. University.
Congratulations to you.
Go go
The
Braves.
Braves just won.
Yes. I mean,
They
gosh,
beat
first
Houston.
time in all these years. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, I've sort of become a little bit of a Dodger fan because I've been in California for
That's what
34 years.
happens. I know. I
But
know.
you know what? I'm still diehard Georgian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I grew up in a college town, which I think was great because we had REM B-52s were from Athens,
Yes.
Kim Basinger. I mean, we had some entertainment people from there,
Hmm.
which kind of gave me a good feeling. Like, I always think, well, if they could go and do it, maybe I could try it and
Right. Yeah.
and do the same thing. And then I moved to Atlanta for 2 years right after I tried college for a little bit, but I knew in my heart I was going to go into entertainment. I thought, why am I wasting my parents' money? Not that I think college is a waste. I kind of, in hindsight, really regret that. I wish I had actually gotten my degree just for myself, but I knew pretty passionately what I was going to do, and
It,
so after 2 years, I packed it up and
right.
moved to California.
California. Juanita chimed in from South Africa, one of our lovelies, and she goes, at 40, it's not only your face that changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Thank you.
Merlin wants to know what was a nice role you played. Merlin in Ontario
Oh, oh, well, I played a lot of early
early
TV
on.
stuff,
Yeah.
but then I have this new project, Kombucha Cure, where I actually do get to play Theo. He's just a funny ex army vet. He has a pet pig. It's a little more closer to my southern, good old boy kind of role.
Hmm.
And I don't get killed in it. I don't kill anybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. So that's coming up. Watch for that on Amazon Prime.
That's going to be on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, because we'll go back to the moving from Atlanta to LA in a second, but there's been a lot of projects that you one after the other, even during this time of
I'm very
pandemic, huh?
blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never take it for granted. I
No.
always say to people, you just got to say yes to pretty much everything that as long as it doesn't offend your morals or ethics or anything. But
Right.
I've my career has been a marathon for sure. It has not been a sprint. It's been a slow building kind of
Working
career.
up the farm system, as they said. Yes, right.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
think I think I think casting directors are like, oh God, there's Jasper again. Just can somebody just give him a part? Oh, as we say, bless his heart. Can someone just give him a role?
Yeah.
But it's it's been quite a journey. It's been an amazing career,
Mm,
and I mean, I feel like in many ways, some of the best roles are still to come.
are still to
Um,
come. Yeah,
as a character
absolutely.
actor, it's a little bit of the sexism of our business, unfortunately, or the ageism or whatever. But we, guys in particular, as we get the the craggier we look, the more character we look, we tend to work a little more.
Isn't that amazing how that is? Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
yeah. So
So,
people told me in my 20s, Jasper, you're going to work all the time when you get older. And I used to be like, well, that's great, but what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
there's bills to be paid, and
Right.
so you made that move from Atlanta to Tinseltown to Hollywood, and what was that like? And what was the opportunity that invited you to come to California, Los Angeles?
Yeah. Well, I had been here. I had made a couple of attempts to move here a few years before that, and it just the time I would come,
Hmm.
something would happen. I just wasn't ready.
Right,
Everything in life you have to be ready for it.
you
So
do.
back in Atlanta, I went to the Alliance Theater School, and it was a full program where you learn playwriting and everything about theater. And I met a fellow Athenian, Becky Kennedy, and we co-wrote a play together and co-starred in a play called Willow Springs Now, which was just a stupid Southern talk show set in this little town in South Georgia, kind of like a Fernwood Tonight.
Oh
You're
yeah,
Rick
yes,
Willard,
yes, with
and we
Willard,
we
and
yeah
was
we
Martin
got it
Mull
to
in that too, or
yes,
yes,
Martin
yeah.
Mull.
Hmm.
Yep,
Used to come on after Mary Hartman,
Mary
Mary
Hartman,
Hartman.
Louise Lasser.
Yes.
Yes, yes. See, we're on the same TV vibe.
TV
Yeah.
guys here, television guys, born and
Yeah, so
raised.
we got the play produced in Atlanta, and then we just being 23 and fearless, we thought, well, why don't we just take the play to LA? Why not? And we did, and we drove for 2 cars, 4 days, followed each other, and arrived in LA on the very first morning was the Whittier earthquake in
Oh
1907, which at
yes,
that point was the biggest earthquake that LA
yeah.
that LA had ever had.
Oh wow.
So I didn't know if that was a good sign or a bad sign, but
Mm.
we stuck it out. And the play, we did the play and it ran for a couple of
You
years.
came there and you shook things up.
That's what
Atlanta
Becky
has
thought.
arrived.
That's what my girlfriend Becky said. I kind of felt like it's a sign to get back home, but luckily I stayed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and just hung
That's
in there and just started that journey of auditioning and
What was it like? I mean, what did you envision? Did you have dream roles, dream parts, dream productions that you would love to be a part of? Certain genres, just
mhm.
anything that you were seeing maybe that was already out there and you're like, gee, I'd love to have a role similar to that. What was it you were hoping for as you were making your name known and, pounding the pavement and, fine tuning, your skills and your craft there in Hollywood.
Well, I knew I wanted to work in television. I thought
Yeah,
it was always going to be sitcoms, and because coming from theater, a three camera, well, it's four camera now, but back it
yeah.
was three cameras.
Three camera.
You had the
Started
best
by
of both,
Lucy and Desi. Yeah.
right? Desilu, because you have an audience, and then you have the TV, so it's a little bit of both. And I was able
Right.
to do uh, Married with Children, and I got some
Yeah.
fun roles in the beginning. But the thing about it is, I thought because I came to town with a play and I got an agent and I started booking jobs that it was just always going to be that easy. Like oh wow, this is how it happens, right? And then, at a certain point, reality hit, and it was like, okay, Jasper, are you in it for the long haul, or are you just here to
Mhm.
be famous or
Just
whatever?
to be famous. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Which
and
is a
so
mistake to do that, to go just for the fame, because that's fleeting and
yeah.
it could be empty if it's not backed up by, experience and skill. And then there's something about earning it too, right? I've always looked that way. And I think maybe that's how you were raised. That's why you
Yeah.
say it was a marathon versus a sprint. There's something about earning it, and the accolades or whatever they come, but that's not what you're chasing. You're chasing the work, and
Hmm.
building your body of work, and, honing your craft. And if there are awards and accolades and adoration that comes, that's beautiful. But again, that's, some people go into these things looking for that,
Yeah.
and that may happen, but usually it doesn't. The facade disappears quick, and you're found out.
Yeah. Well, especially today's world
Mhm.
with the social
Social
media and
media and
YouTubers, and there's a lot of young actors and young performers that come in. On the flip side, it's great they can produce their own content and get all the followings and everything, but they're kind of missing sometimes the sort of the paying their dues and sort of the ups and downs and the. I always say, look, you're going to have some heartache eventually along the way. You're going to have stuff to deal with, either a lot in the beginning, more later. It's going to balance out at some point, but just be prepared to. In fact, I always say to young actors, go get a good therapist before you worry about getting an agent, because trust me, your
yeah.
agent does not want to be your therapist, first of all, you know.
No, that's, they don't have time for that.
No. So you might as well pay someone that wants to, listen to you.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
yeah,
early
that is.
on advice.
So the shift from the comedic and looking for those sitcoms to the genre that you've mastered in recent years. Tell us about that. How did that happen? And were you going after the comedic roles, and just it wasn't happening in the way that you wanted, and you said, you know what? Or did somebody else say, like you were saying earlier, you would really, let's give this other thing a shot, Jasper. Let's change it up a little bit, and let's give this other thing a shot. The bad guy
Well, I
you
mean, I
mentioned.
honestly, I like to say that there was some master plan in the beginning. There really wasn't. I just
Yeah.
always took what jobs came and I
Whatever
auditioned for
came.
everything. So, like I said, booking Prom Queen was just another job I booked. I really didn't think much beyond that, but it was the first time I'd played a really just a nasty father. I mean, this guy was terrible, and I got a lot of praise for it, which is strange. But and that's when I think my manager said, by the way, I've been with the same agent for since 1993. I'm very loyal. Um,
Wow, that is
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah.
she has since passed, but
Yeah. Yeah.
now
Yeah.
a former agent there handles my career. But
Yeah.
she's the one that basically said, you're at that age now. Maybe you should think about trying to get in this lane of playing more of these tough roles. Um,
Right.
and that's kind of what. Then she just sort of started like submitting me for those type parts.
Mhm.
Even in the comedies I do now, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or any of the comedies I do,
Yes. Yeah.
I'm still the bad guy. I'm not the comic relief guy. I'm still usually just the foil or the bad guy. But
Yeah.
it's playing bad guys are really fun because like some of the you interview actors all the time. Some of the nicest guys are the bad guys, and some of the biggest
Not so
douchebags
nice. Yeah.
are
Yeah.
can
Are
be the other guys.
yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, kind of
Surprises
goes either
people.
way.
The home audience thinks it's the other way around sometimes, until they try to go up to them in the supermarket and they say, "Get away from me."
And I'm like,
You
I'm like,
expect the bad
really?
guy to
What
say that, and he doesn't.
what are
He's the one
you
that sits
what are
there
you
and
thinking, right? Like, why are you doing this if you're rude to your fans? I don't understand.
yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah. So
So,
so that's really how it started, and then I would say the next big thing was probably MacGruber about 10
yes,
years later, which
yeah,
I tend to look at everything in 10-year increments, but
hmm,
MacGruber was my
decades.
first really big studio picture where I was one of the principals. Even though a lot of it got cut out, um, it it was a great experience, and it got me to go into rooms of like the Cohen brothers, and I saw my auditions and my meetings take another step up,
Mm.
and kind of got me in front of a lot of other kind of producers and directors, which was great.
Somebody had asked, maybe it was Toby. Yeah, Toby asked, ever play a bad guy in a soap opera?
Not a bad guy in a soap, but in my early years, I used to do a lot of smaller parts on some, playing the waiter, the messenger guy on some of the Sunset Beach and Generations. I'm trying to, I can't think, but I think I did The Young and the Restless once, maybe, or something, but nothing. No, no. I'd love to. No, trust me. I keep saying now. I love to get a part on one of the four daytime soaps,
Yeah,
like a reoccurring. I don't want to work too hard, so
you'll come in as
maybe
the
like once or twice a week.
yeah,
I
like
play a
the
lot
guy
of
that
homeless guys. I figure there needs to be a nice homeless guy that's a regular outside a building, or you know, outside one of the homes of the lead
the
character.
luxury estates and
Do you remember Gunsmoke?
sure, yeah, of course, yeah.
So the other day, this person stops me. Generally, everyone thinks I'm Danny Trejo, which is hilarious, but I
Mm.
love Danny, but we're nothing alike. But
Yeah.
this guy said to me, "Hey, dude, do you remember Festus on Guns? Because you remind me of Festus." And I was like, "Wow." But then the actor in me was like, "That's exactly the kind of roles I would, love to play." So there's something about when you play those kind of roles, you can hope you only look better in person than
And
how you do on screen. But
not to be confused by what Jerry Stiller had said, what, Festivus? Festus, not Festivus.
that's just
That's a whole other.
right.
Did you ever dream of like being on like those types of shows, the Seinfelds, the King of Queens, all of those, epically
Classics.
written and yeah, Mad About You, just all of those over the years. And is that something that still is in you? I mean, is
Yeah.
that something that if a comedic role came or sitcom came that you liked and that was suited, you would give it a shot, right?
Oh yeah. I'm actually producing something now that with Denise Boutet, my producing partner. It's a sitcom. It's a single camera comedy, but I would be playing sort of a janitor kind of guy, a regular guy at a hospital, sort of like on Scrubs, the the janitor who sort of knows everything, and or knows people. So yeah, I want to get back again. It's going to be the facade of the bad guy, but behind it, is more of a funny kind of character.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of those incredible roles that have come your way. What would you say? I mean, MacGruber obviously is one that gets a lot of notoriety. What was it like being a part of that project?
Well, it was again being coming from the world of comedy, and I always watch SNL from going back to the very beginning in the
Oh,
70s.
yeah,
It was really great because I got to Lauren Michaels was one of the producers on the movie. Seth Meyers was a producer.
that's
You
right.
know, this was Kristen Wiig the summer before Bridesmaids, before she
Right.
really blew up.
Yeah.
Will Forte, because I had watched the sketches on the show. Yeah, so I was geeking out a little bit. I was trying to hold it in, but like it's a little surreal because it was almost like my childhood dreams of doing comedy and with these veterans, and then you throw in Val Kilmer, who was like an icon actor in his own right. Powers Booth
Oh,
was
yeah.
another great actor that was in it. Maya Rudolph. I mean, so it was
Fantastic
a
people.
heady
Yeah.
experience. But I by that time, I was 47. I felt like I had sort of, it was timing is everything. Like I had earned it, you
Right.
know. Yeah. But you'll find with most actors, a lot of us, we always are waiting for someone to just like tap us on the shoulder and say, we figured out you're not really that good. So, you're somebody's replacing you. that's an ongoing dream a lot of actors have, between showing up and not knowing where you are, what your lines are, and then being escorted off a project.
Those are more nightmares. Yes.
You have to fake it till you make it, as I say.
So from there, obviously the notoriety came in from there. What was next for you?
Well, let's see. I got to work with, like, Ryan Murphy on American Horror Story. It was
Yeah.
more about, not necessarily. I mean, the roles were fine, but it was more about working with great producers and directors and just getting to go in and meet with them. Um, Being on working on Westworld, with those guys. Um, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm trying to think of the parts that really came after that, but it's just been a it's really just been a continuation of work begets work, and that's the thing I say to young
Yes.
actors also. you know there are shows that I have been in for, like The Shield years ago. I went in
Oh
for The
yeah.
Shield about 27 times and never booked a role, but the same group of people a few years later did a show called The Forgotten,
Right.
and they put me on there. So a lot of times we don't know when someone's going to remember us. As actors,
Hmm.
we tend to want that instant, like, why aren't they called? Like, why didn't they put me in that next project? But
I was so good at the last one. How I would have expected that there would be a floodgate opened, filled with all these offers, and sometimes that doesn't always happen, which surprises people, right?
yeah, TV especially. TV is a thing where you have to sort of, you're going up against, it's the executive producers who cast those parts. So
Yes.
we don't know how many people they've been wanting to bring in ahead of you. I mean, there's so many things. So a lot of actors think they screwed up the audition, or they
And
didn't do a good
it's
job. And
really
it's
not
it's really,
that.
I would say, if they bring you back for multiple times, they like you. They're not,
Yeah.
if you stink up the room, well, now it's self-tape. If you mess up your self-tape, they're not going to keep calling you back in.
Do you
So
like the self-taping?
I love the self-taping.
Do you?
We had sort of started going, self-taping had sort of happened about a year before
Yeah,
COVID, not completely, but it was already moving in
on
that
its
direction.
way. I had to do a few of them too. It's yeah.
Right? And
Some
it's
people like it, some don't. I guess they're getting used to this. I guess some of the old school, they want to see the people, they want to have the
Mhm.
cup of coffee, that rapport, and it's difficult for them to make the adjustment. We've had a couple of guests on who talked about, they're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
doing it, but I want to be amongst the people and everything. So it's a little bit of a
We do miss, like you said, having the caster say, Jasper, let's try it again. Tweak it a little bit. So I try, even on a self tape, I try to at least do two different takes,
yeah, makes
just so,
sense.
just so
Absolutely.
to
You
give a
have
little choice.
some
But I've been
choices.
lucky.
Yeah.
I booked a good bit off self tape. So um, I never minded auditioning. Some really great actors cannot audition. I mean, it's just not their thing. They just don't do well. And there's some people that audition well, but they don't necessarily bring much on the set too. So it's a kind of a trade-off, I guess.
Absolutely. It really, really is. But again, it gives you the convenience of, I guess, being able to do multitude of those in a day. Not that that's easy to do, but
Yeah.
if you have several different roles, different things coming up, you can bang out a few of those self tapes and get those done versus having to get on a train or a plane or taxi or drive from place audition location to audition location. As a lot, I know in New York, in the city, many times I've had to do that. Where okay, we've got this at 9 a.m. and then we've got to be there at 1:30. There better not be any traffic or
Hmm.
train delays or any of that, and it can be. And then you got to go from uptown to downtown, and it can be crazy.
Yeah.
But
In
self.
LA, with the LA traffic
Oh,
too.
that's even like
I mean,
it'll
the
take
truth
two
is,
days to get from one side to the other.
some people said to me, like, Jasper, why are you in Palm Springs a lot? I go, look, the truth is, I can often drive faster from here to LA, an hour
Right.
and a half moving, other than driving across the city in LA, because you're just sitting in traffic. So
Mm,
sometimes it's just as easy to drive in from here.
That is, yeah, that's what it is. You make the best of it. So some of these other roles, tell us about American Horror Story. How did that happen for you?
Well, that's another example where that casting office, Ulrich, Dawson, and Chrysler, they're one of they've been around the longest, and I've gone in for them. I booked the Rookie with them.
Yeah,
Um, CSI was through them.
yeah,
So, it was another audition, but I I think again there was a momentum already happening after MacGruber at that time. But I often said I would take any part to work with Ryan Murphy because it's once you get in that Ryan Murphy world, you know, he tends to use the same actors on other things. And I have been in for other times for other incarnations of Horror Story, just hasn't been the right part yet.
yeah.
But I love just being able to have those guys on my resume and to work with them, and then just to have that experience. It's been
Mm,
amazing.
mm.
I got
That's
to work on my scenes were with Leslie Grossman, um, who he has since been using on most of his uh, uh, incarnations of the show. So yeah, it was a blast. I mean, that I say to people, I love between action and cut. You know, that's the
yeah,
best part. I used to love all the other stuff around the business. I'm older now, so I think it's still exciting,
yeah.
but I say the day that I don't enjoy action between action and cut, I will leave because I there's no reason to. If you're not enjoying it, you don't need to stink up the set, as they say, right? You
Well,
know,
it's kind of like what they say when they say, the most important part of life is, when you look at a tombstone, you have the birth date and the, date of passing. It's that dash in between. It's what you do with that dash in between that
right?
really matters most. That's the living part. That's the life
That's
part.
the
So
journey. The journey that
that's the
where a lot
journey.
of times we're too not in the moment. We're not living in the moment as as it's happening, and we look
Right.
back and go, "Wow." I say that a lot lately about my career. I was always on to the next thing. This like when am I going to make it? And then I realized one day, Jasper, you've sort of been making it all along. It's each step was a making it. I don't think there's really a moment where someone says, I mean, I don't even think if you ask a Tom Hanks or a George Clooney or someone, have you made it yet? That's such a nebulous kind of thing that we put on ourselves. So I often say, just enjoy the journey along the way.
Mm-hmm. And you have, what are some other roles for you that really stand out so far as some of your personal favorites, Jasper?
Well, and it's not cliche to always say the one you just did, but like I'm
Yeah.
on this new series, the third season of the Family Business, um, and I play Corey Black. But again, here's an example: getting to work with Ernie Hudson, from Ghostbusters and Grace Frankie, and an iconic actor like him. I always revel in those kind of experiences. Just being on the set with people like that, with veterans. The drummer
Absolutely.
Sheila E is on this. Like
Sheila E. Yeah.
I mean, the conversations you can have with Sheila E about which has nothing to do with the acting we're shooting that day. Um, so Corey Black is a favorite of mine right now because I play a biker. He's head of a Pittsburgh biker gang who is head of a drug or underground drug organization that's working with Ernie Hudson's character, and it's kind of cool to be the biker, to be in charge of these dudes. Um, but there's a lot of other stuff happening with Corey, and it's one of the few roles where I didn't get killed off, so I will be
Yeah.
coming back next season.
Right.
Because generally I don't make it past 3 episodes or 30 minutes into the movie. I've been
You've
slashed and
been
killed.
eliminated from the scene.
Yeah, lots of knives and guns and
Has there
fighting.
been, yeah, has there been, that leads me to the question that I'm thinking about. Has there been a role that you've taken on that has been so, and I think I've had this conversation with others, it can get really intense. you're taking on this persona, you're taking on this, if it's a true story, if you're doing a true story, sometimes even more so, knowing that whatever happened is really did happen in life. But have there been roles, maybe one or two, that it got so intense that there was difficulty a little bit detaching from the role? You became so ingrained in it and so immersed in it to want to get it right and to want to portray it a certain way that it gets hard sometimes during the regular course of the day when you're not on set to sort of detach a little bit. Some people have that just because it's so intense, or it just affects them mentally and physically, not being able to sleep. And it just really, again, because of the intensity of that role they're taking on. How about for you, Jasper?
Well, I think for me, physically, I was always that actor who, because of my physicality, I'm not a trained stunt person. I was a gymnast when I was younger, but I've gotten into many situations where I probably should have had a stunt person, but you don't want to be that actor that when they say, "Hey Jasper, are you okay climbing up the hill and then rolling down and then flipping at the end?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I can do that." And I did that a lot in my career, and I ended up having back surgery 4 years ago. I just had neck surgery a year and a half ago. So I did a horror film called Hansel and Gretel with Dee Wallace, and that was one of the most physically grueling for me, where I was running and boots and fighting and jumping and falling, and probably should have had more training, maybe should have had a stunt double. So probably more physicality for me rather than I'm pretty good about not taking the role home. I can turn it pretty much well, and
Mm,
then well, see, that's Shelley and Captured. Although Shelley was actually a very nice guy, he
yeah,
just looked crazy.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Hansel and Gretel was a tough physical shoot
Yeah.
for me. But otherwise, luckily a lot of the TV guest stars are 3 days maybe. A film can be 1 month to 3 months, so that's I'm look, I'm just praying for that job, that sitcom where I pull up to the studio, have a parking space, park my car, go inside, you
Like
know.
Carson did.
Yeah, like on a
Pulling
set,
his
because
Corvette from
it's not
Malibu.
it's not locations. But speaking of, when I did the tonight, I got to do the Tonight Show all those times. That was the Carson studio.
Yes, in Burbank. Yeah.
And I don't know, I think purposely maybe Jay never wanted to update the dressing rooms or the green rooms or so anything backstage, it was literally like 1975 with the
It
shag
was
carpeting,
still to pay
still that
homage
way.
to Doc Severinsen and Ed McMahon, Freddie DeCorva, and
It was doing
Johnny.
that back to the comedy thing, that was
How'd that happen?
amazing.
Yeah, how'd that happen where you ended up getting on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno? That's
Well,
cool.
they would do these different sketches that he would pre-tape a lot. And so the casting director, Scott, there, again, it was just another audition. I went in to play a drunk bunny rabbit that wakes up in the Oval Office when Obama was president, and he can't get me to leave. And I went in
I
and
remember seeing that.
yeah, and we filmed that one, and then what happened was they started using us a lot, and we just started being like this little troupe. What a lot of people don't know is they'll film 3 or 4 pre-tape things in the day. A lot of them
Yes.
will never make it on the air by the time the show comes. Either Jay cut them or for time purposes. So I don't know how many. I did so many of them that didn't make it on the air, but the experience would be sometimes Scott would call in the morning and say, Jasper, can you get here at 1? We have a sketch. And a lot of
Mm,
times I could do it, sometimes I couldn't. It was never really pre-planned. It was just sort of on call kind of thing.
yeah.
But it was great. I got to watch how I didn't know that the Tonight Show was so rehearsed. I didn't know that they ran every question. They had someone sat in and pretended to be Jay and the guest, and it was very scripted. There was not a lot of improv. I I tend to be a real improver. I like to go by the cusp, like I think you do on your show. I can tell.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so but it was fascinating to watch how that show was put together. And then our stuff, a couple of times we did live sketches in the studio, but most of it was pre-taped. Yeah, and then they would air it.
Yeah.
There was another show, Spike Ferenstein.
Oh,
He had,
yes. Remember? Yeah.
he had a short-lived show. He was one of the head writers on Seinfeld, and I also got a similar thing with his show where in fact, there was somebody from the Tonight Show that worked on that show, and I went on and did various sketches on that show as well. But I think it only lasted one season.
What are some other shows that you've had an opportunity to be a part of? I think I said Everybody Hates Chris was another one too.
Yeah, that was a great one. I played the neighborhood crack addict who Pumpkin, who although Pumpkin was, he was funny. Again, when I think about it, maybe I did play a little more comedy when I was creepy looking than I thought. But yeah, he was the local drug dealer in the neighborhood, and I think I did like 9 episodes. I can't remember. Um, I would say I could look on IMDb, although a lot of times I don't know how up to date IMDb is. But we shot that at Paramount on the great New York backdrop there. That was a good gig to get for sure.
That's fantastic. Tell us about this picture that we have here. This is
Oh,
incredible.
anyone home? Yes, that's Walker. That was I was so impressed with this director, Patrick Cunningham, and the whole script. Walker was a desert rat, this character that really was this sort of innocent guy living out in the desert. I go into a garage and start to siphon some gasoline to steal some gas for my RV camper I live in, and I get taken hostage by this mother who's squatting in this house and her kid, and it becomes just a series of nightmarish activities that she t- ties me up with twines because she's making all kinds of Christmas decorations, and she actually holds me captive for a good part of the movie, whereas usually I'm the one being the bad guy. Here, this was sort of the tables were turned on me, and I'm very proud of this movie, especially for the Kathy Baker and Gabrielle, the other actress, and the young actor Luke Ganlon. So if anyone hasn't seen this, it's out on VOD if you could find it to watch the brilliant performances by the other actors. It's more of a psychological thriller.
How long did it take to actually get that together and made up like
Yeah,
that?
that was a lot. That was about 3 hours in the chair before we shot. What you can't tell is, well, maybe you can tell, but they literally wired my mouth shut. I had this apparatus in my mouth as well that made it where I couldn't talk. Is what I would try to talk, but I really couldn't. So much of that was an exercise in acting with my eyes, and other than Hansel and Gretel, where I had to do a lot of just physical stuff. It was a real exercise in learning to act with just a limited facial expression, and you really had to feel what was happening for it to come out in the eyes. So, and then also I was bound together with the twines, and it was about 3 hours to put it on and about an hour and a half to take it off.
Wow. And how often did you have to do it?
Well, every day, I mean, every day I came to work. I didn't shoot every day, but every day I was there to work, I'd have to do it. And then in between takes, I could take out the mouth
Mm,
piece, but otherwise the hands kind of stayed. I sort of had this permanent, you know,
yeah.
position.
Was it heavy? Was anything heavy?
No, it was mainly that's just like twigs and wire, and then I had a piece of wood that would keep
Yeah.
this arm like out like a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, what it was is she had a picture of a Sears and Roebuck calendar picture
Oh,
of a
did she
family,
really?
and she was trying to make me look like the father holding a cup of coffee, in the picture. So, It's a
Wow.
really cool film.
That is cool. That's fantastic. Here's another shot that showed a little clip of that. Tell us
Oh,
about this one.
that's from Savage Sisters. That's where I play a really deranged sheriff who kidnaps uh, four women that are out at a they're out to celebrate a bachelorette party, and this has a very Hills Have Eyes throwback quality where I pose as a sheriff. I capture these women and I take them back to the farm where my brother and my father, and we're actually cannibal. We're cannibals, so you can imagine it gets really gory um, once we get back to the farm. It's so funny because I, I I don't even really watch these kind of films much anymore, but I love playing them. I love doing them, but just hearing me describe like, oh yeah, we're cannibals. We eat people. Who doesn't really?
I mean, how do
But
you do these roles and then you know, have craft services during that too? I mean, how do you how
well,
does that
it's
work?
so funny once you see like, everything is so. I mean, so blood is pretty much food coloring and sugar water,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And you
Yeah.
use the best way to take it off is with the really that Noxzema. I think it's a shaving cream. It's a really inexpensive.
Oh yeah.
Is it Noxzema? I can't remember. One of the cheaper shaving creams, old fashioned one. But here's the truth be told. I'm such a huge unscripted reality person now, fan. I think a lot of it has to do is because when you work when you work in scripted all the time, you sort of it's hard for me to watch a scripted show or a film sometimes without going, oh my God, I wonder how long they were in that outfit, or how hot
Right.
that day, or who had food poisoning, or who didn't feel well that day. So but unscripted reality, it's a field that I'm not as versed in, and I can sort of sit back and enjoy it.
One of our regular Lovely viewers, Juanita, says, "Have you ever worked with Rob Zombie?"
No, I have auditioned for Rob. I would love to work with Rob. I know Rob. I know Rob, and he, we know each other. So Rob. If you're watching, call me, text me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would do anything in a Rob Zombie film.
he's available.
Yeah, I'm available. Absolutely.
How about this one?
Oh, Awaken the Shadow Man. Yes, that was another Gene Smart starred in that one.
Oh yes.
Yeah, two young
Hmm.
writer directors, and I'm completely forgive me blanking on their names, but that's their project. And oh, actually, Anthony Ferrante from
Hmm.
the director from Hansel and Gretel, who went on to do all the Sharknado films, um, he produced that, and that was a straight offer from Anthony to come play this part of a really a bad guy who owns a junkyard who's holding some secrets about the kid's mother's Jean Smart, who's missing and they can't find her.
Mm,
And I might know where she's at.
yeah, that's
Maybe. That's Theo in the upcoming Kombucha Cure. Um, that's a dramedy that I'm so excited about. It's
Tell
a
us more about that. It sounds cool.
yeah, it's
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, we shot it as a film and it really looked better as a series. So it's been cut into 6 episodes that are going to go on as a digital series. It's really about a small town in Northern California who have who have learned how to live a holistic lifestyle um, with holistic medicine, and the big pharma and the insurance companies get wind and they're wondering why are they able to do what they're doing, so they send investigators to this town to find out what are we doing
What
you
are we
know
doing? Yeah,
yeah, and kombucha, the drink,
right.
it's something we make and that we're drinking, and it's really a dark comedy, but the writer director is Korean, Cecilia Choi, and she's an oncologist in real life. So a lot of it is about her experiences as an oncologist dealing with big insurance companies and big pharma. And so, do you remember Northern Exposure, the
Oh
series?
yes, sure. Yeah.
this has a real northern exposure quality. The local townspeople, I play one of them, Theo. It's a quirky bunch of almost like a Waiting for Guffman, Christopher Guest kind of group of characters. Yeah,
And
I
who's
have
in
a
that?
pet
Rob
pig,
Morrow was in that Northern
Rob
Exposure.
Morrow.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're right.
John Corbett.
Yes, that's right. That made
Yeah,
him really famous.
actually, I
Absolutely.
think they're rebooting. They're rebooting everything now. So I heard that they might be doing a remake of Northern Exposure. How do you feel about that as a classic TV fan?
Remakes of things.
All these reboots, yeah,
Um, we had a guy on last night who is a prolific music producer, stage director. He acted in the soap operas, television, film. He has a music production company in New York. Peter Link, great guy. He he's the guy. If you remember Jack Lemmon and Sandy Dennis with the Out of Towners,
hmm
he's one of the guys that ends up when they're looking for her ring in Central Park because it fell off her finger, and they thought that Jack Lemmon was attacking the woman and he was helping her find the ring. He punched Jack Lemmon in the stomach.
Oh
And
yes,
yeah, from
yes,
Clancy's bar when they were in Central Park there.
right.
And it was funny. I mentioned to him that they did the remake of The Out of Towners later on, and that is tough to
Yeah,
sometimes remakes don't necessarily, I didn't like it as much as, I mean, Jack Lemmon just had a certain delivery, a certain timing, witty, and Sandy Dennis with her quirky ways of delivering and the time period. It was late 60s, early 70s in New York. Quincy Jones musical background, the track and
right.
everything. Neil Simon's wonderful writing. It just was very tough to. So there are, I mean, I've seen remakes of some television shows too, and there's a few where they've wanted to do remakes, but some of the main characters have passed away.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to do that too.
I think more recently, Will and Grace did an amazing.
They did a nice
I mean,
job.
they almost like
Yes.
it's almost like they didn't skip a beat. They
Now, the
came right
thing
back.
is, do you like remakes when they bring back the original cast if they're able to, and maybe now they're a little bit older, or remakes where it is completely different? Like, for example, there's the Wonder Years that's on right now, and then there's the original Wonder Years with Fred Savage. Totally different, similar ideas and
Right.
format, but different approach. Um, so how about you? Do you prefer it when they try to bring back the original
Yeah,
cast?
I'm sort of hit and miss on that. Like, I because I love the original cast. Like, I like when they do bring some of the like Murphy Brown didn't quite hit right. I don't know if it was just that the writing was kind of dated, but it was great to see those actors again. The Wonder Years, I love that because it's an African American family,
Yes,
so it's almost like a whole new show.
it really is like a
You
whole
know,
new show. Exactly.
in fact, yeah, that's. But I'm trying to think. It just seems like right now they're doing every day I read on Deadline some new reboot. They did the Hispanic version of One Day at a Time, which I thought was good.
They brought back Roseanne as the Connors.
Right. Yeah. I guess I was never. I didn't wasn't a big Roseanne fan, so but I hear people really like the Connors and it's done well. So but it's just interesting. I think it's good. I guess when I think back on there's a lot of films that I think were classics, and then they were remakes already from a earlier film that I wasn't aware of. So it's generational.
Yeah, yeah. Some films. Are there films that you wish you had been cast in that you saw come through the pike? I mean, you were in one of the Friday the 13th, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, gosh, I mean, like True Grit. I was up for a role in True Grit. Jeff Bridges is my all-time favorite actor, human being. Like, if I could have a career like Jeff Bridges, that's a film I really wanted. I got to audition for Clint Eastwood for the Changeling some years ago. My friend Rick Sarabia got that part. Yeah, I mean, there's been projects that, but I also know that at this point in my career, whatever part I don't get, it was not for me, it was for my buddy, it was his part or whatever. So
So
the
you're
beauty
rooting
of
one another on, right?
yeah, a lot of us when we used to show up in the room, we'd all get to see each other in the waiting room, and I kind of knew any of us could do the role. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of did they want my look that day? Do they want the red hair, the bald guy? It's kind of, but that comes with you have to have a body of work to have that sort of confidence to understand that it's just not your role, just wasn't yours to get.
Wasn't meant to be for you specifically, right?
Yeah,
And you
that's
have
tough
to,
though.
right, tough pill to swallow, but you learn to move on, right? And because you can't get too wrapped up, because if you get too wrapped up, then you can miss something else that comes your
Right.
way, and you're too wrapped up in not getting that other role. Here's
Yep.
another cool one here. What was happening
Oh,
here?
that's Corey in the family business.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that I got to so Corey's part of Ernie Hudson is called the Council, and there's Ernie by day runs an exotic, upscale, upstanding car dealership, but at night he's really head of an underground drug cartel in New York City. And this is when Corey's being introduced to the other council members that are, you know, questioning my abilities and who am I and why am I being led into their group kind of thing.
Mm.
All 12 episodes are now have been are available on BET Plus, and then after I think about a few months, it will run on BET, the regular cable outlet as well.
Oh, that's cool, huh?
Yeah, it's a
So,
really it's a really great. It's got that nighttime. It's kind of an old throwback to sort of the Dynasty mixed in with like a Hill Street Blues or something. It's got a real and it's a real New York vibe, even though we shot it here in LA.
right,
Um,
exactly.
they do
Yeah.
a great job with it.
It's really amazing with some of those sets how they do that, right? I was on the before COVID when I was doing a TV shoot for my professional work, and we were in Burbank, and then a friend of mine actually works at the Paramount lot and with Dr. Phil
Yeah,
and the show there, and just got a tour of it and with meeting with some people that were there as well, talking about projects and. Just to see, the New York City sitting right there, 3,000 miles away is so cool, isn't it?
Paramount's one of my favorite. Like I said, we did
Oh, that's pure
Everybody
history.
Hates
Yeah.
Chris there too. There's something about those iconic gates and
Yes.
yeah,
And
just
knowing all the shows that came through there. I
the
mean,
history exactly.
Disney, I mean, not Disney, Desi Lou was there, of course, and Love American Style, the Brady Bunch, all
Just
the
on and
movies.
on. Happy Days, Laverne and
Happy
Shirley.
Days was there.
I mean, there's so many. And if
Just
you, I
epic.
mean, that's the great thing about if you're working on a lot like that, it's funny. There's so much security to get in these days, but
Oh,
once
yeah.
you're in, you can just wander around anywhere and check it all out. And
That's
yeah,
exactly right. That's we were able to do that, which was really, really cool. Got another cool shot here. You mentioned Hansel and Gretel. We had Dee Wallace on the show
oh
a couple
yeah,
months back, and then we had Gabrielle Stone, her daughter, working with. I mean, she's a legend when it comes to this genre and so much else. I mean, she was even on streets of San Francisco with Michael
wow.
Douglas and Carl Malden. She's done it all. What was it like working with Dee Wallace and just being a part of this? Like you said, Hansel and Gretel was a very intense role to be a part of, huh?
Mhm. Well, she's amazing, first of all. And
Dee
again, I
Wallace, yeah.
really did take the role because this is what I was going to say. I'm at a point in my career now where I do really look at more so than a lot of times the part. I look at who am I going to be working with, like
Yes,
who the other actors are. And
right.
my dear friend Suze Lanier, who was the original
Oh, yeah.
Brenda in the Hills
She
Have
was on
Eyes.
the show too. Yeah. Hills Have
Yeah,
Eyes. Yes.
yeah. So she and Dee. That I think Hills may have been Dee's first film, or
She played the
close
older
to it.
sister. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I I had heard a lot. I knew how great Dee was, but
Yeah.
just to work with her and the director Anthony Ferrante and Dee were really close friends. So um, that particular day that you're watching that shot.
Yeah.
That's the first shot of the movie. I have to run out the front door, down some steps to chase the lead actress.
Mm.
And on the first take, I went to step down the first step and I missed the step and I ripped my
Ah,
hamstring. And I knew when I did it, it was bad, but
mm.
I had to continue on. That was the first day of the shoot. And so for the next 3 to 4 weeks, I shot the film with this ripped hamstring, which ended up being a disc
Holy
problem on
cow.
my back. So it's weird. So when I look at that, I
Yeah.
remember how much pain I
You
was in
remember the pain.
because that was like a few hours later in the
Oof.
day.
Yeah.
And I just tried to use it in the character.
You
My
just,
character ended up with a limp.
it
I had a
enhanced the
permanent limp
character. Like
because I
when
was
they said,
dragging my
show
right
more
leg.
emotion, Jasper. No problem.
In fact, Dee, it's funny because this is tell you about Dee. So she could tell I had hurt myself in the first take, but actors don't want to say anything.
Right.
She goes, Jasper, are you all right? Did something happen? She's like, stop, Anthony, hold on. Jasper doesn't want to tell you, but he hurt his leg. That she was the type person, anytime there was a safety issue on set, she would call it out and take care of all the other actors. And,
That's
because a
cool.
lot of these low budget projects, you have to sort of really be careful. I mean, sort of not to go over to the Russ situation with Alec Baldwin, but I'll be honest, seeing what happened on that production with all those productions where I've shot guns and
Yeah.
dealt with guns and stuff,
The
I
chance
just
of
by the
that. Yeah.
grace of God, nothing ever
Right.
happened on my
Yeah.
productions, but
Mm.
anything could. So
Yeah.
Dee
Yeah.
was a real great person about safety for her. She's really good in that film too. It's another little movie that not a lot of people saw, or maybe they did, but she's great in it.
Are there other folks that you've worked with that really stand out for you too? I mean, there's so many different people and so many different types of shows, and also some that you would love to have an opportunity to work with.
Well, my all-time favorite was Sam Elliott.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I worked on a pilot called Texarkana in 1998. It didn't get picked up. It was a brilliant 1 hour show with Judith Ivey. It was Terry Polo's first TV job, who went on to do Meet the Fockers and all the
Oh,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But Sam was just, oh my God, he was such a mentor. I got to watch him how he operated around the other actors, and I've been able to sort of see him over the years. And I was not playing tough guys back then, at that point yet. And so I keep thinking in my mind it's going to be. I almost got to work with him on his Netflix series, of which I'm forgetting the name of, but with Masterson, Danny Masterson.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
From
I
the
keep
70s
thinking,
show.
yeah, I keep thinking I'm going to end up, working with him again, Sam, because he was really he's at the top of the list of the people I've worked with that have been the most. On the producing side, Tyler Perry
Oh,
is
yeah.
is the greatest guy I've ever worked for. He's one of the few people in all my years that actually is a man of his word and really sticks to what he says he's going to do. And he's one of the few people that pay on the gross, on the back end, on the gross, not the net of a project. So I always say to people, when people tell you you're getting points on a project, well, if it's on the net profits, you'll never see anything. If it's on the gross, you'll actually make some money. So I guess when you're a billionaire,
You can.
you can throw a little money people's way.
Exactly. Now, speaking of that, we're focusing a lot on the acting part of what you do, but also producing, right? You enjoy producing. Tell us about what was the initial entree into becoming a producer as much as an actor, Jasper?
Well, I think like I mentioned, going way back to when I moved here, producing the play Willow Springs Now, once
Yeah.
I kind of came into the business doing all those wearing those other hats. And so it was hard sometimes not to want to. control all of that. But
Yeah.
I produced theater for like the first 15 years I was in LA, and my production company. And then in Texarkana, the pilot for Paramount CBS was my first producing job.
First one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out at that point, could I navigate in the studio system? Would I want to go that route, not act, be the producer full time? And I realized afterwards, it's a choice you have to make. Like you have to go the corporate route, do that full time. It would be very hard to act as well. So I got that experience of doing that. And then in 1999, I produced an indie film called Get Your Stuff. That was a small budget indie film. But in the more recent years, it's Denise Boutte, who is my producing partner. She starred on Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns for 200 episodes. I've been her manager since she moved here 17 years ago. And so she and I have a production company, and we produce both scripted and unscripted projects together. So we have several things right now, but we have a comedy, a sitcom, we have several reality projects, unscripted. Kombucha Cure, I'm a producer on as well. I've got some clients I represent that are writers and producers. So I always say if I'm not working, I pimp out the clients and take 10%. I take 10% of their money.
That's the producer, right? Exactly. So are you super enjoying that? Will you always be the actor first and happen to be doing the producing, or are you is the
Yeah,
producing
I
starting
think
to take the
I
joy
think
of the acting?
it'll always be acting first, but it's interesting. The more acting has come my way when I think when I just let go of obsessing on the acting because I was busy doing
Yes.
these other things.
Right.
And then I tend to also find a part for myself in these projects I'm producing. Not always, but some of the stuff I'm doing, I'm also in as well. But I just love staying in the business. Like I see all the stuff. You wear so many hats. Um, I I say I'm Jamaican without being Jamaican, right? Because I,
Right.
I I
Right.
wear so many different hats.
Right.
The one thing I saw someone directing, someone
Merlin
just
asked
asked,
about directing.
directing
Yeah.
is the one thing I'm probably the only actor in the world who really has never wanted to direct because I know how hard it is. It's really the most well, film in particular. Film is a director's medium, and you're the first one there, the last one to leave. It's a year of pre-production, then it's a year of post-production. Um, I just want to be the pampered actor who shows up and goes to my trailer and doesn't have the responsibility. But I'm not good at, and also
And you're very authentic and honest because most people, that's what the dream is, but they don't say it out loud. But
yeah,
you're the real
I'm not
deal.
good. I'm not good at telling. I don't think I can get a performance out of another actor. I'm not even one of those actors that can pontificate about my own acting. Like I don't know I don't think it's rocket science, or brain surgery for me, not to negate anybody else's process, but I don't, I can't even really tell you what I do. It's like everyone kind of does their thing, I guess. But a
What
really
do you
good,
do to keep in shape, according to well, Juanita wants to know? Is there a
oh,
certain
thank you,
regimen, eating certain things, not eating certain things? Because the
thank you.
pandemic, everybody added
It was
a
tough.
few.
It was tough trying to figure out working out at home, when you couldn't go to the gym. Um,
Yes.
I've always worked out. I said to somebody the other day, a young girl was talking to me about working out, and I said, it's the only advantage of getting older is once you've established a certain amount of muscle, muscle has memory and you
Yes.
don't have to work it out as much. And
Right.
so it's easier to maintain. But I do think diet, it's like 80% diet, 20% exercise for me. Um, that I was a trainer for years before
So you
acting.
have the
I had a
discipline
gym.
and the focus.
Yeah, it's always been something I've enjoyed doing, and I always say it's my non-antidepressant.
Well, I was
It's
gonna
more
say, yeah, it's got to be how you can work out sort of the rough edges of the day by really getting involved in
Mhm.
an intense workout. And what are some of the things you do?
Well, first and foremost, I was a runner for years, but now I'm a walker.
Yeah.
I walk and I try to get like 20,000 steps a day. I'm not obsessive about it, but and then I work out probably once a week for sure with weights, but twice if but I do a lot of stuff at home. Like I have a pull-up bar. I have stuff at home during the pandemic. I pretty much b- built my own little gym. I also got into the bands.
Ah,
The
yeah.
bands. I had never
Yes.
used the resistance bands before, and I used to be honest with you, I used to kind of make fun of them. But I now learned that you can pretty much use those resistance bands for everything.
So you're saying you were initially resistant to them?
But
Yes, exactly.
tip your waitress. We'll be here all week.
That's it.
Um, Try the liver. Yeah,
Tips
but
in the
yeah,
jar, please. Tips in the jar.
can't get no respect.
You are-
Um, but
Dr.
yeah.
Vinny Boombots. I miss him, don't you, Rodney Dangerfield?
Oh
Oh,
man,
Phyllis Diller, Rodney Dangerfield, all of them. That
Joan Rivers
whole
now.
Buddy Hackett. I mean, that whole group, they were hilarious,
Do you
you
remember
know?
Shecky Green?
Sure, that's that whole group that they were the Borscht Belt
Bushwell.
Catskills group. Yes.
Shecky was our neighbor in when we lived in South Palm Springs, and in fact, he actually went back to Vegas. Yeah, I heard he actually left Palm Springs and moved back to Vegas. I don't. Hopefully, he's working because he's like you said, he's part of that last group of true, commentary political guys.
Yeah.
Mark Saul, who we just I think passed away
Yes.
recently.
I don't
There's
even know if some of the humor that, like Rickles and some of the others did, you could even do now. Probably not.
not with the
A
cancel
lot of
culture.
that, yeah, there would be a lot of that humor that would be nil. Toady Fields, that goes
Lo-
back a little bit.
Love
Toady
Toady.
Fields.
Remember when Toady would still do the Mike Douglas show without a leg? Because
Yes.
she had lost a leg to
Yes.
diabetes, and she. I mean, we are really aging ourselves, and I know I'm older than you, so you really were a youngster watching these shows.
I figured we'd do a pregnant pause there. Let that soak in.
Yeah, good time for that. Yeah,
But no, just in knowing she was obviously gone too soon because of the diabetes and everything. I've seen there's a lot of cool YouTube videos with her doing concerts and being on some of the talk shows. And she had a certain delivery. There's a certain delivery that was
yeah,
just biting, but yet funny.
yeah.
Very
And
much so.
it was cultural, with the Jewish faith and the Jewish culture, with a lot of the comedians like Rickles and Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers was always one of my favorite. In fact, I mean, I liked Carson, but I would really watch the Tonight Show when Joan Rivers was guest hosting. Um, she was always one of my favorites.
Did you
Have you
like
seen?
Letterman?
I did. Yes, I preferred Letterman when I was younger. When I was younger, I preferred Letterman. I found as I got a little older, um, I went back to sort of the Tonight Show. I like a Jimmy Kimmel, you know.
There's a certain, yeah, I do too. He's not so slapstick in a way.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, some of it when he brings in his Aunt Chippy and all these others, it's hilarious stuff, which can lean slapstick, but it's not really slapstick. It's witty. It's like real people, and it's
Guillermo,
just
his sidekick too.
yeah. I mean, it's got this whole thing, and I know, yeah. And then there was Ernie Kovacs.
Right. I mean, that's the great thing about YouTube and everything we have now to be able to go back and look up all these
Whole
great,
generations are
and
discovering
some people I
television.
didn't know still. I'm finding
Yeah.
people that
People that were already gone, right?
or you just like Lenny Bruce. Of course, I've heard all about Lenny Bruce, but I've been doing a deep dive recently on Lenny Bruce, and wow, because this whole Dave Chappelle controversy, recently I did a deep dive on some of the other classic controversial comedians like Carlin and Lenny Bruce was always and Richard Pryor, of course, but
Yeah.
But Lenny was an interesting one because he flew under the radar a little bit, you know. And um, I did see years ago, Joan Rivers did a play on Broadway, Sally Marr. She played Lenny Bruce's mother in a
Yes,
play, and she got a Tony nomination
she
for it.
did.
Yeah. And so, but you see how my mind always goes back to comedy. Yeah, I'm always obsessed with more of the
It
comedic.
circles back. Yes, it really circles back. And I think it's something, well, like you said, you have the production company now. And since you have that production company, you're able to create what you want. And if comedy is what you want to circle back to, you have the ability to really do that now, right?
I do, and like I do you remember the first? Were you an American Idol fan at all?
Oh, sure. Of course. Yeah.
The first
Yeah.
season there were two hosts. It was
There was
Brian
Brian
Dunkelman.
Dunkelman.
So Brian is my client as an actor and a stand-up, and so I tend to I like challenges. I like to take people who I think are not getting their due, and so
Yeah.
he's a brilliant stand-up comedian, and we just produced a project called Dunkelman that's going to be out soon, and it's basically a stand-up, a one-man show where he takes us on the journey of his life going through the Idol debacle, what that was really all about. Brian would be a great person on your show. Here
I
I
was
look, here
just,
I am.
yeah,
Now I'm pitching clients. But but
sure.
that
Absolutely. Well,
but
was
yeah,
it that I had always heard, through the industry, and I don't know how accurate, that he had thought that the show wasn't going to be a hit or wasn't going to last, so didn't renew for the second year, but Ryan Seacrest did, and then they kept the singular host, something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Because you
Well,
never really know if a show is going to work anyway in the beginning.
yeah, that's a big part of our documentary is he clears all that up, but there's so many layers to it. So no, it wasn't that he
Said, "Oh, this isn't going to
chose
work,
not
and
to
I'm
do
out."
it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff around it, and
yeah.
he and Ryan Seacrest never had any problem at all.
No, yeah,
Um,
right.
but Brian's whole shtick is like he's known for the idiot that allegedly walked
The way
away
it was
from
presented,
a
yeah,
show that
that became a blockbuster and
yeah.
propelled Ryan, and yeah, yep,
Yeah, but I gravitate toward comedians, that was
yeah. Who are
yeah.
some of your favorites?
Well, for sure, it's funny, I lean toward female comedians, but Joan Rivers, I love caustic, like Sarah Silverman, Chelsea Handler, early Kathy Griffin. Um, I love like Joe Coy. There's some people that aren't as well known. Michael Yo, there's some people that I just like people that Whitney Cummings,
Oh, yeah.
people that I love all the celebrity roast on Comedy Central,
Mm,
Nikki Glazer, Amy Schumer. I like people that really either make fun of themselves or make fun of other people, but make fun of other people like Lisa Lampanelli, where that it's a joke. They're not like being racist to someone, they're making fun of themselves first. That's a little bit more of my personality. I'll make fun of myself but first before you can do it, kind of thing.
right, exactly. That
Yeah.
makes total sense. It's right. It's all
I
in
think a shocking thing, shock value. Um,
right.
I've come to appreciate Howard Stern more in my more adult years. I didn't always
He's changed a little bit too. He's become
he's a
more
great interviewer,
introspective and maybe inspirational a little bit. It's just a different
Yeah.
sort of a vibe than the earlier years.
Yeah, if you listen to him, he's really a masterful, no pun intended, a masterful interviewer. He really does weave and bob and weave. And he's pretty brilliant in that respect. But I like the fact that I love Private Parts, his film he did years ago. That kind of humor.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's funny. I can't believe how long ago that was too, huh?
got to be
Jeez.
20 years, right?
Oh my God. At
Probably.
least. Look at that
Oh,
shot.
oh, so this is
Is
like
that in
this is
front? Is that those blinds there? It almost looks like they are.
this looks like this is your life, Jasper. That's from a new film called Sallywood that's coming out. Sally Kirkland, Jennifer Tilly. I play homeless Hank, in that my friend Zach Gruber wrote and directed. Sally Kirkland is a Oscar-nominated actress in from a movie called Anna back in the late 80s, but Zach was her assistant when he was in his early 20s, and they became dear friends for the last 30 years. And he's written a movie about that time period, and Sally plays herself going back 35 years ago,
Mm,
uh, up till current day. I've been
wow.
Sally and I met doing the pilot of Still Magnolias, the series version of the film back in 1992. It didn't get picked
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
but that's how long I've known Sally, and she was one of my original clients also. So she gave me this cameo in her new film, Sally Wood.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's Corey from Family Business.
That's a cool one. Yeah.
Just
Cool
got off
show.
his motorcycle. I think that's just a cheesy red carpet picture.
I think that's just a cheesy red carpet picture.
That is from I oh I
Were you
think a pilot
auditioning
I
for Mr. Clean
I think a
or the
yeah,
Green Giant?
I'm bald and they put that hair on my head. Um,
Right.
it's a green screen.
It's a
That's from a
green screen.
pilot I did, a TV pilot I did with Jennifer Love Hewitt that didn't get picked up.
And what was the role you were going to play? What
I
they
was a
have you as?
bounty hunter.
You were a bounty hunter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was
Wow.
a bounty huntress.
When you take on these roles, there's a lot of research that goes into it, and you learn a lot about, that particular task, right? What's that like doing the research for the specific roles when you're taking on the role? Like if somebody was in ER, they would research being a doctor or a nurse and some of the technical terminology and all. How about for you?
Well, again, what's great about the what's great about Google, the internet now, I mean, you can pretty much look up anything and everything you need. I don't know how we lived without it before. I guess we actually went to a library or read books or, something archaic, something
We went
archaic
to the
like that,
card
like
catalog and
the Dewey
or
Decimal.
microfiche.
Yeah, yeah. So you can very much look up anything on YouTube now and get the
It's
videos and
it's all right there. Google it.
the
Yeah,
history of it. Yeah.
that's
I've
amazing.
never actually played any character based on a real life person.
Person, yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm forget. No, I wouldn't forget that. No, I
You
haven't.
probably would have loved the back when they had in the 70s, the late 60s and the 70s, the ABC movie of the week. I
Yes,
could see you in
I would love that.
some of those movies.
And you
Yeah.
want to go back another? How about the Quinn Martin productions,
The
like
Quinn Martin
the
productions,
Kojak
yes.
and the Streets of San Francisco and Mannix and Cannon and because there
Yeah,
were
Quinn
always
Martin production.
those great guest stars that you would those faces you would see a lot, and they didn't even try to hide. Like on those shows, they would use the same actors,
Yeah,
like Law and Order used to do. I don't know if they still do that. The joke in New York used to be you hadn't really made it till you did like several Law and Orders where you play different characters. Now you can't do if you do a spot on a show, you can never do it again unless you
that's
play the
it.
same character.
Exactly right.
That's
So
why almost every actors have this thing where we do a guest spot now. They'll almost always say, Jasper, we're gonna have you back.
yeah,
Man, we're gonna get you back. We're gonna have that character back. And so it's like, okay, really? I'm waiting.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, it's happened a few times, but my friend and I we have a joke saying, "Are you reoccurring on that?" So if when I am reoccurring on something, my buddy will call and go, "Dude, are you still trying to play that off?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I came back and did more episodes."
So tell us again about some of the cool things that are in progress, that are coming up, things that you're excited about. And yeah, Brian, if he wants to pop on the show or anybody else, feel free to spread the
Oh,
word. We'd
great!
love that, my friend.
I'll hook you guys up. So yeah, so right now, we have Family Business streaming on BET Plus.
That is
Um,
cool.
Kombucha Cure is going to be out hopefully by
Yeah.
the end of the year on Amazon Prime. Sally Wood. I have a brief cameo that's coming out, and then the movie is now called Fall. It was The Fall, but it's Fall with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, um, and that we shot during the pandemic. Family Business we also shot during the pandemic, but those are my four scripted things, and then I have a design show for HCTV that's coming out
Oh,
about
cool.
a designer in Atlanta, which you'll hear about, and then a docu series
So,
about the
so
man.
you know Lauren at HGTV?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So do I. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Small
Yeah.
world, huh?
Yeah. It's
When you talk to him, mention Jim Masters. They were on the show. Yeah. Good guy. Did you see when they redid the Brady Bunch house?
no,
Wow.
I've driven by it.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, right around the time when they were just finishing it up. I happened to be on a TV shoot there in LA and they said, I got to go. I wanted to see that house and I wanted to see the house in Pasadena where they did the show Family with Christy McNichol,
Oh
Sada
yeah.
Thompson, James Broderick, Meredith Baxter Burney,
I've
Gary
never seen
Frank.
that. I love Pasadena.
The
I
house
don't
is
know.
still there. It's beautiful. It went for, I think, $3 million recently, or it's the house where they shot, the exteriors for Family.
Yes,
And then I learned some movies too, I think, were shot.
probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pasadena looks a lot like the South where I grew up. It's got the big front
It's
porches
a
and the sort of
beautiful area. Yeah.
antebellum sort of places. Yeah.
Allison
Every,
Tillman wants to know if you cook. You got some Southern cooking you do?
well, I love to eat. I can cook. I actually can cook, but let's just put it this way. I have two microwaves in my kitchen, so that tells you which apparatus I use a lot is the microwave. But I eat a lot of salads. I eat a lot of Trader Joe's pre-made salads and stuff like that. But
Oh
I do
yeah,
like,
we have some in the refrigerator here. Yeah.
yeah, I like to go buy like a rotisserie chicken and salad. It's very simple eating, but I do appreciate. I'm in awe of cooks and
Yeah.
chefs and people who can really do it. I just don't have that talent.
What is your website too, so people can check out the website and keep abreast
Thank
of some of the
you.
cool things that you're doing and you're working on and part
Yeah,
of?
it's just jaspercole.com and everything's there. My podcast, One on One with Jasper Cole, is every Thursday night. Well, tonight was taped, but usually we're live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And all the archive shows are, they're on all the platforms, iTunes, iHeart, all that. But on the website, it has all that. And
Cool.
you can contact me and stay in touch. It's been
Toby
a real
says,
pleasure to
oh, mine as well.
be here with you guys.
Toby says, did I hear Jim say you were on Prison Break? Wentworth Miller is a hottie.
I wasn't on Prison Break, but I'm working. I'm working on a series that one of the producers,
Right.
David Jeffrey, was a producer on. But I do know Wentworth and his partner, and another great guy, great show. I auditioned for Prison Break many times and
What's
didn't
the
get
one show that you auditioned for that maybe you didn't get for whatever reason, but that you really wish you had gotten that particular one? And sometimes there may
it.
be more than one.
Sons of Anarchy was the last one that I went in multiple. I mentioned The Shield before. I mentioned Prison
Yeah.
Break, but Sons of Anarchy was another one. And I didn't have my motorcycle license, and I was so stupid. It was like because I kept sometimes the roles didn't require it, but the ones that I really should have gotten, I did not drive a motorcycle, and I've
Mm,
since figured that out.
yeah.
But that casting director, Wendy O'Brien, she's amazing. She's supported me for years. But yeah, I did end up working. The creator of that, Kurt Sutter, his Outlaw Empires is another show he did. I ended up
Mm,
working on that, but not on Sons of Anarchy.
mm.
So
There was somebody that, and you've watched these shows, so you pretty much know who's sort of my sidekick who likes to pop in towards the latter part of our epic escapade that we do here on the Jim Master Show Live. Mr. George Burns is with us.
George, hey George, where's
There he is.
Gracie?
She's off on assignment. He's got his cigar and his hanky, and he's a family heirloom. Sometimes we spring it on the
Oh
guest
my
at the
God, that's
end.
so great. That
Isn't
is
that
so
cool?
great.
Came out when he was 100. One of my aunts collected dolls, and it was a limited edition type situation when he was 100, and got passed down to me. So he's become part of the Jim Master Show Live. And he says, you know what, Jasper, you knocked it out of the park, kiddo. And remember, he played God
speaking
too
of
in the movie.
100, before we go, can I please show my extended family, Elsie Azanaro. She is 100 years old today.
Wow, where is she located?
She is in Orlando, Florida. And
Wow.
I mentioned her daughter-in-law that I was going to be on the show because unfortunately she's been making her transition this week, and the
Yeah,
thing was we
yeah.
didn't know if she'd make it to this day.
To
and
the
and so when you said 100, I just wanted to send prayers to her. But how amazing that she may exit the world on the day she came in 100 years ago.
that's
Pretty
yeah,
amazing.
that's
So
incredible.
we could
Yeah.
I
Bless
can end
her,
it
huh?
but end it by saying we should all be so blessed to have that sort of longevity. And up until this
Absolutely.
last month or so, she's really been the
Yeah.
picture of health. So
And then it
yeah.
just it just the flip of the switch. Before we go, what are some of those blessings and joys in your life that propel you to continue doing what you do so well, Jasper?
Well, I think without my family, it starts there. You know, my
Absolutely.
dad will be 90 years old. He's in great health. He still lives alone. My mom passed away 8 years ago, but I've got two brothers and I've got nieces and nephews. So I'm blessed with family and so many friends and loved ones. And as you get older, you realize you kind of end up knowing a lot of people, but you're only close to a few. So most of my really close friends I've known either since childhood or high school, and a few along the way out here. But in general, I've got probably five really best close friends that my ride or dies.
They are the salt of the earth, right?
Yeah, they know where all the
Exactly.
bodies are buried,
Yes.
literally.
uh, Merlin in Ontario, Canada says, thank you, Jasper, for being here.
Oh,
And
thank you, Marlon.
Ralph Cole Jr. watching, of course, commenting throughout.
Ralph is my radio sidekick.
He's
I
your
didn't know Ralph was going to
sidekick.
be.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
watching as well. And he says, Jasper, you are a fierce. Thank you, Jim, for a fantastic and thorough interview. Thank you for watching Ralph Cole Jr. Love that. So Jasper Cole, Ralph Cole, is it the same as
Yeah,
family,
we're brothers from another mother.
but the
We're not.
same last name?
Yeah, Cole. He's a
How
junior, even though
ironic is that?
I know we're just we met 12 years ago. I managed his career as well. It was just one of those things. We met on a pilot, and I knew instantly, wow, this guy, I think he's going to be a friend for life. So
Yeah, which
he,
is a blessing when that happens.
yeah.
Kathleen
So he's
Walker in New York says, thank you, Jasper, for sharing your life and stories with us. This was great. And we'll have you back, as I always say. And when you watch the show, you see me say, we'll keep the porch light on for you as well. Juanita says, this was a great conversation. And thank you, Jasper, for spending time with us and sharing your wonderful career. Good luck with all the upcoming projects as
Thank you,
well.
Juanita. Wow, you've
And
got such amazing
the
watch
Lovities,
fans.
our
Thank
Lovity
you, Toby.
audience.
Toby's in Encino,
Yes,
right?
she is. Yes,
Well,
she
Toby,
should.
I'm in LA also. I love Encino. It's a great place.
And Ralph's cat's name is Jasper Cole.
When we met, he said, I know we're going to be friends because my cat's name is Jasper. So,
See?
yeah.
What's the derivation of Jasper? Is it a family name?
Um, it is a made up name. So
Oh, well, I laugh because
Jasper is a stage
people,
name.
people have for years said, come on, your name is not Jim Masters, because I work on television, radio.
Right.
It's not Jim Masters. You're probably Harvey Lupowitz or something. You changed it to Jim Masters because it rolls off the tongue and it sounds smooth, because a lot of people would change the names. Only the names have been changed.
To
And
protect the innocent.
and I'm like, I'm the fifth, James. I mean, it goes all the way back.
Wow.
It was just passed down. So why change it,
Why change it if they're not broken?
So,
Mine was, it's too long to go into, but all I know is there's a Jasper, Georgia. And I saw on the map one day, and I saw the word Jasper, and I was needing to join the union, and there was already a name of my birth name, and I didn't have a lot of time, and the woman said, hurry up. And I just said, I looked up and there was Jasper on the map, and I said, just make it Jasper.
Just make it
And
Jasper.
that's where it came from.
If you're here on the East Coast, anywhere, between New York and Boston, Philadelphia, let me know. Love to break bread, get together. And
Oh,
if I'm on
and
the West
likewise,
Coast,
when you
yeah.
come here, yeah.
So oftentimes I'm sent out there on TV shoots and different things. And I usually like to, book a few extra days to visit people and catch up. We have family there. We have lots of friends out in California. So love to stay connected. Let's definitely stay connected. And yeah, if there's
Absolutely.
folks you think would like to hop on, you've watched it, you've experienced it.
I love it. I
Um,
love your
and
show.
I appreciate it. I
And let
really,
me extend an invitation. Ralph and I we'd love to turn the tables on you and have you be a guest on our show so we can, if you ever do that, so we can delve into, your past and your journey.
that would be cool. That would be cool. Jane's watching in Sweden. She's all excited because, for the longest time, she would watch our show. And now it's really late in Sweden, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And she would never miss it live. So
Wow.
there would be times when by the time, because right now it is 10 o'clock, East Coast time here, Eastern time. So, and the clocks go back 1 hour. So you get the extra hour tonight. For those in the United States, not everywhere. They don't do it in South Africa, and Ireland already did it last weekend.
And they don't do it in parts of Arizona, but
They
that's a
don't
whole
do it
other
in parts of
story.
Arizona as well.
Yeah.
So she would always be here. She's a real lovety, and they all are, and we love them all. But she would stay up to the very end of our show, get like, I don't know, 10 minutes worth of sleep, and then go to work at the airport in Sweden. She have only
Wow.
an hour difference between the wrap of our show, because there's so many hours ahead of us here, and when she had to report for work at the airport.
Now that's a
And,
true fan.
and now she just retired so she can sleep in.
Oh, all right. How exciting. Good for her.
This was fantastic, my friend. Really awesome. Really
Likewise.
appreciate all the time. And it was fantastic getting to, I was very familiar with your work, and, really appreciate all that you do. And you're very passionate about it. And like I said in the beginning, you play those roles that might seem intimidating, but there's a heart and soul past all of that. And, a comedic talent in there as well. So maybe we'll see in one of those sitcoms,
Thank
perhaps
you,
that,
Jim.
that you
It's been a
create.
real pleasure. It's been an honor to be I feel like I'm an honorary levity.
Yeah, the
So
levities.
yeah,
Yes. The love and the levity that slipped out of my mouth became levity.
I love it. Well, keep up the love and levity. Keep up the levity, and I'll be watching.
I appreciate that. Hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time as much as I did.
It was great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Now go stretch those legs, as I tell all of the guests.
Yes.
Get the circulation going. Stretch those legs. Did you eat dinner yet?
No, I'm going to right now.
Yeah.
It's only 7 o'clock here.
Most of the West Coast, yeah, they usually, I tell them, if you're really starving before you come on, because, we don't have a time constraint. Some people say, well, how long are we on? Because, a lot of conversations are, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever it may be. But I say to the guests, like I asked you, I said, I'll say to the guests, do you have a limo outside idling or a jet that's being fueled?
Or an
If so, we'll
Uber.
talk faster.
Yeah. Or a non-sharing Uber.
Or a non-sharing Uber. Exactly. This was really cool, my friend. You take care. You be well. Let's definitely stay in touch. And
Absolutely.
really, really a pleasure, Jasper. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Have a great evening. Thanks,
You
everybody.
you too. Oh, what are you gonna have for dinner? This is a foodie
Oh,
crowd.
I'm going to my favorite meeting friends at my favorite Mexican restaurant.
Oh,
Gotta
cool.
have chips and guacamole.
Uh,
Yes, I do eat carbs. For my
yeah,
friend Jeanette, who might be watching, who says I never eat a carb,
yeah.
I I do. So
And Lisa said we read her mind. Of course. You be
yes.
well, my friend. And
Thank you, my friend. Take care, everybody.
all right, you take care and enjoy.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye bye now. Jasper Cole, live and direct from Palm Springs, California. Go to his website, jaspercole.com. You can learn all about the cool things that he does and he's working on, and some of those projects that he shared with us as well. And cool guy. Like I said, he might seem a little intimidating when you first see those photos you see him in some of those flicks, but he's a nice guy. And and he started out in comedy. He's always loved comedy. Really cool, huh? And that's what happens here on the Jim Master Show Live. As much as we have all this entertainment and this levity, sometimes we dig deep, have these poignant conversations, and learn more about one another. You do, as you're commenting away on our live chat. You learn more about yourselves because you're always talking amongst yourselves, which I think is really cool. We love that. And you learn more about me, your host and producer, and our guests as well. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. You know, there's over 500 plus episodes and counting of the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series available for you right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So if you'd like to check it out, just stay right here. Those of you who aren't watching live, you can stay right here on our channel, and another episode of the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series is coming up right now. Those of you who are watching live, of course, we will be back. Now, tomorrow, we have 2 shows for those watching live. I want to keep you abreast of it because they are at special times. Now, again, this is really for those folks who do watch our show live, because we do our episodes live. Tomorrow, iconic TV and film actress and singer Linda Pearl is with us. Yes, she's got a new stage show and a lot of cool projects. And she and Patrick Duffy are together now, which is really beautiful. You know the actor Patrick Duffy from so many shows, Man from Atlantis and Dallas, Bobby Ewing, and so much more. She's going to be with us here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series Friday. That's tomorrow, 3:45 p.m. Eastern. So I know we usually do our show at the top of the hour, so that would have been like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, or usually we do it at 8 p.m. Eastern. But tomorrow it's a special time. We have a certain window because she's got a lot going on, because she has a stage show at Birdland in New York City on Sunday. So make sure, if you want to be here live, again, if you miss it, that's okay. We archive all of our episodes on our YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. The channel, of course, is Jim Masters TV. But Linda Pearl, the iconic television and film actress and singer, will be here tomorrow live, 3:45 p.m. Eastern, which is 12:45 p.m. Pacific, right? Yes. So that's tomorrow. But then again, tomorrow night, the action continues as comedy legend, the Love Goddess, the one and only Judy Tenuta, is with us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live. That's going to be a hoot. And it kicks off her birthday weekend as well. A reminder, the Pointer Sisters were on recently, Anita Pointer and Ruth Pointer. If you didn't see that episode, check it out. It was amazing. Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver was with us, and so many incredible guests, and from all walks of life, not just entertainment, not just acting and singing and performing, but from a variety of different categories of life, which we love. Coming up on the 16th, General Hospital's Elijah Crow and Law & Order actor, and so much more. Dan White is going to be joining us as well. And many, many, many more coming through the airwaves, joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Gang, as we say, help us grow. Share the levity. Share these YouTube episode links on your social media. Thanks to those of you. I'm getting all choked up here. Thanks to those of you who have been doing that thus far. We really appreciate that. Time for some water. That tastes good. That had a little kick to it. Maybe it wasn't water. Actually, you know what it was? Cold coffee, leftover. There's only a little bit left in here. It's like 4 hours old. I was so busy today, I didn't get a chance to really finish it. It's getting a little dry in here. It's 46 degrees outside. No, now it's 40 degrees outside. So the heat is kicking on for the very first time. So, when the heat kicks on for the first time, share the levity. Yes, share the levity. Like I said, anything can happen live. I'm speechless. I'm choked up. The emotion of doing this show. It's so much passion and levity. Share the levity and share the links on your YouTube on your YouTube, on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, all those suspect places. Of course, you're watching our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV, which is a channel dedicated to entertaining and inspiring, educating, and informing, all that fun stuff. And don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the lovity. Don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine, of course, is the ocean. And that is after time with loving family and friends, and my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years. All of that is also very Zen for me as well. And gang, don't forget to subscribe. We would love that. Those of you who have already, thank you so very much. That means a lot. Lets us know that you really enjoy all that we're doing here for you to entertain and inform and have a good time with you. Subscribe to Jim Masters TV on YouTube. Click that notification bell. Ring my bell. Click the notification bell so that whenever you'll be notified whenever we have live episodes, which is usually all the time, and surprise episodes and so much more. If you haven't seen the Halloween epic episode, check that out. That was a riot. We had some surprise hosts pop in. Halo and Doomsday Dude Perfect popped in. That was a riot, and you guys are still talking about that Halloween episode. And everybody needs to relax. I love that. Kathleen Walker says, mega lovely again tomorrow. Can't wait. Absolutely. And she says, have a great night, Jim. Good night, all, and hugs. Thank you very much, Kathleen in New York City. Good stuff. And we love it. We love it. We love it. All right. We shall see. We may have to do a little editing. YouTube is very, certain things you can say and certain things you can't. Juanita says, good night, everyone. And good night to you as well. Sherry Larson says, thank you, Jim. I'll have to catch the last hour in the archives. My daughter called, so I had to leave. That is fine. Family first, of course. We're always here for you. And good night, everyone. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Sleep well, my friends, from Sherry in Kansas. And great guest. Thank you, Jim. My pleasure as well. Juanita and Merlin. Night, night, Jim, and all lovities. Good to see you as well, Merlin. And thank you for being here as well. And everybody that is watching around the world here on our YouTube channel. Cool stuff. Love it, love it, love it. See a lot of networking going on here too. We have to start charging for some of that. Good to see everybody here. Thanks for being with us. And we love you all. You're watching the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Always a pleasure when you guys are with us. One more time, we thank our very special guest, Jasper Cole, who is in the house here, live and direct from Palm Springs, California. Hollywood's not so bad guy actor, right? Cool guy. Great to have him on the show. And there's some people I think that he's thinking about that might pop on as guests as well, which would be fantastic. We would love it. Really cool having him with us, and really cool having all of you with us as well. Checking out maybe a final comment here, and we are going to split. Christine Clifton says from North Carolina, Jim, this was an interesting episode with Jasper. See you tomorrow with Linda's conversation at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. It's under 40 degrees where you are in North Carolina. It's 40 degrees here live right now in the Northeast. 40 in North Carolina. Wow, that is cold for North Carolina. You have a good night, Christine. And thank you very much, Kathleen. You're the best. Thank you for saying I'm the best. You're the best as well. We really appreciate that. That helps our series. That's what we talk about. That's the super chat, super emoji, super stickers that you can do when the show is live, and it helps the series and all the work we do. As you guys know, I do this separate from my professional work. I've got a full-time career in television and radio, and then we do this as an adjunct. And what a monster adjunct it has become. And we love every second of it. Thank you, Kathleen. Absolutely love it. You are one cool cat. Love it. I'm going to hold on to that, and I'll buy you a coffee when we're in the city. Okay. We will put that aside, and we will get you a coffee in the city. Although it's probably not going to get a coffee in the city That won't get a coffee in New York City. We'll probably use it for lights and other, we use it really for equipment because we're always upgrading, and there's a lot of expenses doing this show, this series, as often as we do it. So, let me just look at the place. There's a lot of investment made in all of this, and everybody's still loving our new logo and our new open and our theme music, and that was expertly designed by a renowned designer, illustrator, and then it was animated as well. It was quite a feat, and we absolutely love it. So thank you, Kathleen. Lovety, Kathleen in New York City. That is the super sticker, super chat. We love that. You really are wonderful. And we appreciate everybody else. You guys take care. Be well. We're going to sign off this episode of JMS Live, the Jim Master Show Live. We shall see you. I think I'll finish this off. Finally, none left. Whew, it took 3 hours to finish that one off. I had to choke to do so. Gang, you're the best. We love you all. Wherever you are watching around the world, thanks for being with us here on the Jim Master Show Live. I know you guys watch from all points of the globe, and you write and you email and you text and you Instagram. And thank you for all the levity. Thanks for watching and viewing and sharing and telling everybody about this place we call the Jim Masters Show Live, or as you guys call it, Lovety Hall. We love all of you, and we'll see you on the next one. 2 shows tomorrow, Linda Pearl at 3:45 p.m. Eastern, and then Judy Tenuta at 8 p.m. Eastern. We call that double levity here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We'll catch you later, okay? Be well. Take care of one another. Love one another as we love you. Have a good night. Cheers.